Wow, it's hard for me to believe that Ethan is going to be 40. Now, I'm really feeling old, and you can see all the gray hair as well. I remember first seeing Ethan when he was about 9 years old at his folks' home on Park Street in Orrville. This was when we first began the Bible studies there at his folks' place, which became the Orrville Grace Brethren Church. And I marvel how God not only raised up the Orrville Grace Brethren Church from those humble beginnings, but how that He also raised up Ethan for the Christian ministry. Ethan grew up here in the Orrville Grace Brethren Church and graduated from Orrville High School. He was involved in the band and other activities. And while he was still here, he went to Bowling Green State University in Northwest Ohio. But during that first year that he was there at Bowling Green, it was then that God began to tug at his heart and called him into the Christian ministry. And it was right about that same time that the Practorium began here at the Orrville Grace Brethren Church. So Ethan became the first student and the first graduate of the Practorium, or sometimes we call it the School of Theology, here in the Orrville Grace Brethren Church. Now, some of you may not realize that his course of study was really a seminary course of study. He studied Biblical Greek and Hebrew, all 6 of our theology courses, Dr. Whitcomb's course on apologetics, Hebrew and Greek exegesis, homiletics, hermeneutics, Old and New Testament survey, and there were more courses. I think it was about 100 credit hours, maybe a little less, but around that. Now, we're still convinced and firmly believe that the Practorium approach is superior to going away to a school to study, because the student gets hands-on, first-hand experience in ministry while studying in a local church setting. I think in our culture it could be likened to military personnel who are trained and educated while they are serving in the military. Part of Ethan's Practorium experience took place while he was helping us in Japan from 1993 to 1994. We needed a team member, and he was willing to go and return with us as a member of the church planning team under the newly formed CGBCI. And so while he was helping us there, I think it was there in Japan where he took the Old and New Testament survey courses of Practorium, as well as helping us homeschool our children and assist in the ministry in Japan. During the first part of that time that he was there in Japan, he lived with a Japanese family, the Imamura family, and he played on a volleyball team, got involved in the community, even got a Japanese driver's license, so he had to drive on the left side of the road. But he didn't stay there the whole time. I think after a few months he eventually ended up moving over to where we lived, and he lived with us then the rest of the time, or most of the time, while he was in Japan. And one of the stories that I remember about that is that we had a refrigerator. Japanese refrigerators are kind of small, and it had a door because of the tightness of the space that could either open to the left or to the right. It was double hinged. And one day, Ethan pulled the whole door off the refrigerator, and with wide eyes was standing in the kitchen bewildered. And when my wife Nancy walked in, she had a great laugh over that. She reminds him, doesn't she, reminds you of that. During that time that he was there, he also made a trip with another missionary to the city of Vladivostok in what used to be the Soviet Union. We were thinking about how maybe we could expand because the door had opened in the Soviet Union, and to check out the possibility of whether it would be feasible to plant a church there or not. After returning to the United States in 1994 with us, Ethan finished Practorium and then graduated. And even before that time, up to that time and after that time, He served at the Orrville Grace Brethren Church, teaching and leading our teens, and also directed the youth conference on more than one occasion. Now, I, of course, particularly remember that because my children, Seth and Rachel and Joel, they were involved in our teen ministry then, and I had a lot of personal rapport with Ethan. We didn't always have the finances to support Ethan full-time, so he worked part-time at the Nut Tree while also serving at the Orrville Grace Brethren Church. But he was involved here not only in teaching the teens, but leading some of the early mission trips that have now become the Net Ministry. And I want to say happy birthday, Eth. I still consider you to be one of my sons in the faith. So I say along with the Apostle Paul, you therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus, and the things which you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, these entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. May the Lord bless you. You have a great birthday.